Good evening. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I know it's late, but I wanted to do this video after the kids went to sleep. Um, Today, I wanted to focus more on a bit of an intimate topic of more of why I'm doing this and what got me here. We're going to be focusing today on my story with sexual abuse. So, fun. Um, but I really hope that anything I have to say will resonate with even just one person out there who's been through it or is going through it or whatever. I hope I can give a little bit of clarity and I don't know, help somebody grow and maybe even just start to heal today. My journey started in Northeast Ohio. We'll fast forward to I was maybe around 7 years old. Um, just my mother and I, where I never knew my biological father. So up until 7 years old, it's just my mom doing the best that she could to take care of me and trying to live wherever we could, and she was doing her best. And um, but fast forward to I'm 7 years old, and she had moved back to Ohio, and you know had to get to work. Had to find a job, had to take care of me, and we had family there, and that meant most days I was being watched. We had them as a babysitter, um, and I kind of the point of this episode is I'm now that I've gotten older, now that I've had kids of my own, I can really see different sides of everything. I can see the different perceptions. I can see it a lot more clear, and some moments that makes it easier, and other moments it doesn't. 'Cause I could definitely say looking on this situation as a parent breaks me. Like, mom, if you're watching this, I'm proud of you to this day, and I know you did the best you could, and um, I'm I wouldn't change a thing, as hard as it is and was. Um, but to continue, 7-year-old boy, needed to be watched by whoever the babysitter family was the best option. And during that time was when it started kind of innocent. It was a cousin of mine, and would he would ask, kind of he wanted to touch different areas, wanted me to touch him, and yeah, I don't know. Being that young, you don't really think anything of it, and maybe it's innocent, but it's so easy to be construed a certain way. Um, oh my god! Huh? It started with just he would want to touch me, or he would want me to touch him in private areas or anything. Of course, when there was no other family around, and I mean maybe that should have been my red flag, but again, 7 years old, and the main reason why I had a hard time ever standing up to him was he was a lot bigger than I was, and he came, as I've come to understand, and try to accept and learn, that he didn't come from such a loving environment like I did. Um, so if things worked to his liking, he was the bigger cousin. That meant that I got the shit beat out of me, and if anyone asked, it was boys would be boys. And that could be a bloody nose, bloody lip, black eye. I don't know. bruises wherever, and I was too afraid to tell. Um, this went on about, we'll say, every 2 3 weeks, at least once, all the way until I was 14. Uh, Knowing what I know about my older cousin, um, it made sense that things only got worse. From ages 7 to about 14, he only got bigger and more aggressive as his home situation did. And I mean, perfect example of people who go through things, you either repeat it or you learn to break it. And I mean, that's a big part of what this channel and community is going to be, is just breaking cycles and, learning how do you go through it and not, become the monster. How do you how do you become your best self when something made you feel like your worst? um, Things had progressed to the point of, I mean, there would be a lot of times where, despite how many times I would say no, or, even trying to be physical of saying no, there were too many moments that it was just easier to say yes. Or if I didn't say yes, I was just go with it, because it'll be over soon, and then we can just pretend like it didn't happen and be around the family and, you know, mask it. And I got real good at it. You know, again, anytime, oh, Jared's upset, he got hurt, and it's no blame on him, but outside looking in, I understand how it could, boys will be boys or anything. And um, I'd like to think at this point I got a third eye for anything, because I'll be damned. But um, things have things have gotten worse over the years of just repeated cycles of need someone to drop Jared off at, or need someone to watch him, and that was the easiest option. And I knew at that time that my mom was really struggling to work, and it just wasn't. It just never felt comfortable asking a parent to stop. I don't know. I didn't know, and I'm sure that a lot of people are in that situation now or have been, and there's ways out. Um, and it got to the point where it was being forced to do anything and everything, and it felt like it wasn't going to stop. And I had accepted that. And it wasn't until I was around 14 years old that a good friend at the time, I slipped and I said something that was an immediate red flag. And I think I thank this friend every day I think about it, that she said something. She mentioned it to her parents. Her parents mentioned it to the authorities and the school, and before I knew it, I was getting pulled out of health class in eighth grade and getting questioned about everything. And it was a moment of, do I do I shut it down? And no, that would never happen, because honestly, yeah, I was terrified. The dude's gonna fucking kill me in one way or another. Um, or do I end it because it can't get any worse, right? Um, I told the teachers, the authorities, everything, they needed to know everything. I don't know. I There's still moments of that day that I don't remember because I knew I had to get through it. Um, my mom and my new stepdad were nothing but heartbroken but supportive, and I think we all grew a lot closer. But I having kids of my own now, I can't imagine that kind of pain. I That situation. I mean, it going through high school, through college, I had really bad uh, insecurity issues. I was constantly being I felt like everyone knew at that point. Um, I struggled with being overweight and then uh, binge eating and vomiting and just all this body dysmorphia of just a very bad time in my life to start to deal with a lot of these issues, and it challenged me. Um, I questioned my sexuality because I felt like people knew. I I had a lot of intimacy issues where for a while I was trying to hook up with any girl I could, and despite however many, it was just very unfulfilling and just empty. And then getting to a point where I learned to stop that and feeling like I couldn't have anybody touch me, I couldn't touch anybody else. Um, Thankfully, my wife and I we've worked past a lot of those issues, as she's very understanding and she's got her own demons. But anyone watching, I'm sure you can understand, it changes your wiring and it changes. I'm happy that I came out alive. Um, I'm happy how things worked out, and I mean I'm living proof that you can get through it. But the only one who's gonna do it for you is you, and I mean, and you surround yourself with good people, and speak up, get out of it. It's you. I'll be the first to say you'll be amazed at how much support you can get from the people around you if you just ask. I felt broken for a lot of years, and I still have my days where I feel broken. Anybody hearing my stories can relate and just find any kind of comfort knowing that, like, yeah, I felt helpless, I felt useless, I felt broken, uh, wasted, disgusting, dirty, all of it. um, and I really had to start doing the inner work. um, and truth be told, it wasn't really until my kids came along, my firstborn, about 8 years ago to this day. I don't know, I had the opportunity to not let the cycle continue, is when I really started living. You would like to get to a point where you're not faking it anymore and you're not masking your emotions. And this week, let's work on some of that inner work that we have going on. And the emails have been great. I appreciate all the support. Continue to send any inquiries to houseofstrides@gmail.com. If you're interested in being on the show, I'm sure I'd be more than happy to have you. And there's not a story out there that doesn't deserve to be told. I hope you have a happy, healthy, productive week. I'll see you next time for episode 6. We'll have a guest then. Um, but until then, I'm proud of you. I see you. You're doing the work, and we're gonna heal together.